This recording of Thomas A. Edison's original Mary Had a Little Lamb was made on the 50th anniversary of the invention of the phonograph. The ceremonies were filmed, and it was from that movie that this version was transcribed. The original recording was made by Edison on tinfoil in 1877.
The first words I spoke in the original phonograph, a little piece of practical poetry. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
One idea for the new phonograph of 1890 was to design a small hand-crank device that could be installed in a doll's body. Special records in the form of wax rings were made containing nursery rhymes and chatter. The dolls proved to be too delicate for regular use, and production was stopped after only a few months. Here is an especially good example of an 1890 Edison talking doll. In 1890, the wax cylinder phonograph that could permanently record the human voice was only a recently invented marvel. Some of the first Edison phonographs of this kind were demonstrated and sold in England. Here is the voice of the famous American showman, P.T. Barnum, addressing the people of England via the new Edison phonograph in 1890.
Edison House, London. This 17th of February, 1890, I wish to give my parting thanks to the British public and to assure them that I shall ever gratefully cherish most pleasant memories of their kindness and hospitality, even higher than the pecuniary success with which they have crowned my efforts to please them. I thus address the world through the medium of the latest wonderful invention, Edison's phonograph, so that my voice, like my great show, will reach future generations and be heard centuries after I have joined the great and, as I believe, happy majority. C.T. Barnum.
William Jennings Bryan was one of the last century's great political orators, whose presidential candidacies of the 1890s were marked by many famous speeches. The Edison Phonograph Company released several of Bryan's speeches on wax cylinders. Here he speaks to the issue of the nationalization of the railroads.
The Railroad Question by William Jennings Bryan, Edison Records. The right of the government to regulate the railroads has been established in both state and federal courts. The railroad is a quasi-public corporation. As such, it exercises the sovereign right of eminent domain, and it cannot escape from this public character. What we need is first to ascertain the value of the railroads, measured by the cost of reproduction, and second, to prevent for the future issues of fictitious capital and watered stock. When we have put railroad business upon an honest basis, we can proceed with rate reductions without, however, preventing a fair and just return upon the capital invested. Just now there is considerable discussion as to the relative sphere of the nation and the state, and some have taken the position that railroads should be given national incorporation. The democratic position, however, is that national remedies should be added to state remedies and not substituted for them. The states should not be deprived of the power which they now have to protect their people against railroad abuses. Congress does not need any additional power. It has more power now than it has exercised, and is by the Constitution given full control over interstate commerce. It is not necessary that Congress shall control commerce within a state in order to effectively regulate interstate commerce. The present demand for national incorporation is not in the interest of the public, but in the interest of the railroads. But the people, Republicans and Democrats, will refuse to surrender any of the power now lodged in the states. This is not a revival of the doctrine of secession, as some railroad magnates have tried to make it appear. The question is not whether a state has the right to secede, but whether a state remaining in the Union shall be permitted to exercise the power vested in it by the Constitution for the protection of the rights of the people of the state.
The marching band sound of John Philip Sousa was an American classic. On this Edison wax cylinder, the Sousa band performs the Yankee Shuffle, which ends with several recognizable American melodies. Sophie Tucker was a well-known songstress in the early years of this century. On this Edison wax cylinder of 1906, she belts out a tune called That Lovin' Rag. You'll notice several times that her strong voice was too much for the simple recording techniques, causing distortion in the recording.
The loving rag fills you with joy and joyful jag. It makes you glad, your heart is set to have the loving rag. Your honey gal close to your breast, oh, you dance the rag, you love the bills, say, you never wanna stop that loving rag. Oh, Lordy, 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 hear that tune. I'll forget my home and mother mighty soon. Keep right on the rag, you know to step on me. I tell you, babe, a home ain't nothing like this. Put your arms around me, we glide along. I feel myself a-slipping, I mean no wrong. Close your eyes, my babe, we dance till morn. That doggone loving rag. Oh, you hear that music softly play, said I could dance all night and day. The loving rag, the bomber said, come on, get out of my way. I want a French band playing for me, no Gilmore's or Sousa's orchestra. Dory loving article of harmony is the loving rag. Oh, Lord. Babe, the loving rag, the bomber said, come on, get out of my way. I want a French band playing for me, no Gilmore's or Sousa's orchestra. Dory loving article of harmony is the loving rag.
Surprisingly, Edison, the inventor of the phonograph, rarely allowed his own voice to be recorded. What follows is Edison giving a speech before a convention of electrical manufacturers at Madison Square Garden in New York City in 1908.
Ladies and gentlemen, those of us who began our labors at the operator's key 50 years ago have been permitted to see and assist in the whole modern industrial development of electricity. Since the remarkable experiments of Morse in 1844 and the unsuccessful efforts of Field in 1858, there have come with incredible rapidity one electrical art after another, so that in practically every respect civilization has been revolutionized. It is still too early to stand outside these events and pronounce final judgment on their lasting value, but we may surely entertain the belief that the last half of the 19th century was as distinct in its electrical inventions and the results as the first half was in relation to steam. The lesson of the Jubilee of the Atlantic Cable of 1858 is one of encouragement to all who would add to the resources of our race and extend our control over the forces of nature. Never was failure more complete, never was higher courage shown, never was triumph more brilliant than that which since 1866 has kept the old world moored alongside the new by pulsating cables of steel and copper, the family ties of the civilized world. When I look around at the resources of the electrical field today, as shown in this exhibition, I feel that I would be glad to begin again my work as an electrician, an inventor, and we veterans can only urge upon our successors, the younger followers of Franklin and of Kelvin, to realize the measure of their opportunities and to rise to the heights of their responsibilities in this day of electricity.
Popular tunes and singers sell more records. This is true now, and it was true 70 years ago. The Edison Company had many artists under contract to record then-current or old-time favorites. Billy Murray recorded many cylinders and discs for Edison, both solo and in duets with popular female artists.
Michael Kelly with his sweetheart came from County Cork, and bent upon a holiday they landed in New York. They strolled around to see the sights, alas, 'tis sad to say. Poor Kelly lost his little girl upon the Great White Way. She walked uptown from Herald Square to 42nd Street. The traffic stopped as she cried to the copper on the beat. Has anybody here seen Kelly? K-E-double-L-Y. Has anybody here seen Kelly? You would know him by his smile. Sure, his hair is red, his eyes are blue, and he's Irish through and through. Has anybody here seen Kelly? Kelly from the Emerald Isle. Has anybody here seen Kelly? K-E-double-L-Y. Has anybody here seen Kelly? You would know him by his smile. Sure, his hair is red, his eyes are blue, and he's Irish through and through. Has anybody here seen Kelly? Kelly from the Emerald Isle. Over on Fifth Avenue, a band began to play. 10,000 men were marching, 'twas on St. Patrick's Day. The wearing of the green rang out upon the morning air. 'Twas Kelly's favorite song, so Mary said, I'll find him there. She jumped up in the grandstand in hopes her mic she'd see. 500 Kellys left the ranks in answer to her plea. Has anybody here seen Kelly? K-E-double-L-Y. Has anybody here seen Kelly? Have you seen him passing by? Sure, his hair is red, his eyes are blue, and he's Irish through and through. Has anybody here seen Kelly? Kelly with the green necktie. All day long she roamed around the town in search of Mike. She passed an iron foundry where the molders were on strike. A crowd of men were fighting, there was murder in the air. Said Mary, where the fighting's good, you'll find a Kelly there. A burly chap struck right and left, he downed most every man. Said Mary, that big fella there can fight like Kelly can. Has anybody here seen Kelly? K-E-double-L-Y. Has anybody here seen Kelly? Have you seen him passing by? Sure, his hair is red, his eyes are blue. He was pickled through and through. Has anybody here seen Kelly? Kelly with a green necktie. Has anybody here seen Kelly? Kelly. K-E-double-L-Y. Has anybody here seen Kelly?
Kelly?
Have you seen him passing by? Sure, his hair is red, his eyes are pink. He is a German, I don't think. Has anybody here seen Kelly? Kelly, kiss a green necktie.
Edison's favorite song was I'll Take You Home Again, Kathleen, performed here by Will Oakland. It's a song some people like, some do not. Certainly not an overwhelming favorite. Edison's taste in music has been blamed for the fact that Edison record sales often lagged behind his competitors. This version was recorded on wax cylinder about 1910.
I'll take you home again, Kathleen, across the ocean wild and wide, to where your heart has ever been, since first you were my bonny bride. The roses all have left your cheek. I've watched them fade away and die. Your voice is sad whene'er you speak, and tears bedim your loving eyes. Oh, I will take you back, Kathleen, to where your heart will feel no pain. And when the fields are fresh and green, I'll take you to your home I know you love me, Kathleen dear. Your heart was ever fond and true. I always feel when you are near that life holds nothing dear but you.